Welcome back to the Crime Decoder, where we peel back the layers of real-life nightmares and expose the hidden truths that turn ordinary families into cautionary tales. Tonight, we're stepping into the humid Florida night of March 19, 2023. In the sleepy beachside town of Navarre, a place locals proudly call Florida's most relaxing place, white sand stretches for miles, families barbecue on balconies, and the Gulf waves whisper lullabies until, just before 10 p.m., a single gunshot rips through the tranquility of the Keo Grande apartments. 24-year-old Colby Vincent, lanky young father with a buzzcat and a medical marijuana card tucked in his pocket, has just pulled his red Toyota into the complex with his 4-year-old daughter, Presley, strapped safely in the back seat. This is supposed to be a milestone, their first overnight visit in nearly 11 months. Mandated by a court order handed down only 6 days earlier in a rushed emergency hearing, Colby, beaming with excitement, unloads one grocery bag filled with everyday essentials: milk, frozen pizza, a pint of ice cream for his little girl. He sets it on the kitchen counter inside his modest apartment, then turns back for the second load. That's when a shadowy figure emerges from the darkness between the buildings. One precise shot to the back of the head, Colby crumples instantly, blood pouring from the exit wound, pooling around the scattered freezer items and melting dessert. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office is inundated with frantic 911 calls within minutes, residents reporting a loud pop that echoes off the concrete breezeways, followed by screams and the wail of a child. Dispatchers initially wonder if it's a hoax. This isn't the kind of neighborhood known for drive-bys or gang violence. But body cam footage from the first responding officers paints a scene of controlled chaos under strobing red and blue lights. One deputy shouts into his radio as he sprints toward the victim. "Shots fired. Shots fired. Got a subject down behind the building. Send medics now." Another officer bursts through the apartment door and spots the tiny girl frozen in terror. "Come here, baby. Come here. Don't look. Don't look," he pleads, scooping Presley into his arms and shielding her eyes from the horror outside. The flashlight beams reveal the gruesome details: blood spatter arcing across the door jamb, Colby's body sprawled face down, the second grocery bag still clutched in his lifeless hand. "Exit wound. Right across here," an officer narrates grimly. "Guarantee he was unloading groceries. Freezer stuff scattered, took one load in, was bringing the second." The initial assumption is a robbery gone fatally wrong, but a quick pat-down shatters that theory. Colby's ID and card carrier are still in his pocket. There's no traditional wallet with cash, but nothing of value appears missing. No phone, no jewelry, no signs of a struggle over possessions. "This ain't a robbery," one detective mutters to another. "Maybe it's something freaking else." The apartment carries the unmistakable scent of fresh marijuana, with growing containers visible in plain sight, hinting at Colby's lifestyle. But again, nothing disturbed, nothing taken. This was no random thief. This was a targeted execution, and the presence of a traumatized toddler makes it all the more monstrous. As deputies secure the perimeter and begin canvassing the shocked neighbors, a chilling portrait of the killer begins to take shape. One resident, a woman in her 30s who had been lounging on her balcony, recalls hearing a man yelling moments before the shot, though she dismissed the loud pop as her trash can lid slamming in the breeze until her dogs erupted in frantic barking. Another pair of neighbors pulling up on their motorcycles after a late ride describe encountering a calm, almost nonchalant stranger striding past them in the parking lot. This dude, tall, heavy-set, maybe graying hair, no beard, walks right up and says, "A body just dropped. I'll best get home," one biker recounts, his voice still shaking. Then he just keeps walking toward the pines like he's on a Sunday stroll. Composite descriptions converge. A white male, between 5 feet 11 inches and 6 feet 4 in height, mid-40s to early 50s. With a stocky dad bod build, thicker than slender but not overtly obese, and no standout features beyond an older, weathered appearance that one clinic-working neighbor compares to the elderly patient she sees daily. He fled on foot, vanishing into the wooded area or toward the nearby beach access. It's a frustratingly generic profile countless men in the panhandle could match, but it's the first thread in what will become a tangled web. Meanwhile, Presley's paternal grandmother, who happens to be the best friend of Colby's mother, arrives on scene in a panic after hearing chatter on a police scanner. She rushes to hug the child as officers deliver the devastating news. "Is Colby okay?" she begs. The reply is crushing. Colby is deceased. With custody tensions already simmering in the background, investigators immediately pivot to a new line of questioning. Could someone have wanted Colby dead over his daughter? That same night, miles away, deputies knock on the door of 25-year-old Rachel Moore, Colby's ex and Presley's mother, who has been desperately trying to rebuild a stable life with her fiancé. Christopher, far from the chaos of her past relationship, the late-hour visit sends her into a tailspin. Is Presley okay? Where is she? Demands through tears, convinced the authorities have come to strip her of her child. The officers calm her as best they can. Your daughter is fine. She's safe with family, but Colby has passed away. Rachel collapses and sobs, her mind racing back to the custody exchange just hours earlier. The following day, in a formal interview at the station, she lays out the fractured history. She and Colby were together for about 4.5 to 5 years, high school sweethearts who welcomed Presley early on. But everything unraveled when Colby, initially an uninterested partner, dove headfirst into marijuana, growing it in their shared home, then selling it. "I had my kid in the house," Rachel explains, voice trembling. "I told him, 'You can't do this. It's dangerous for our daughter.' He dreamed of opening a wake-and-bake dispensary selling his own product with breakfast. I said that's fine for him, but Presley can't be part of that world. Dealers always know you have the drugs or the money. Needing support, they moved in with her mother, Christina, but the drugs followed, infiltrating even that safe space. Christina discovered the operation and demanded Colby leave. From then on, his visits with Presley were limited to a couple of supervised hours on Saturdays while Rachel worked. Then came the incident that broke her trust completely. Colby allegedly shaking the baby and dismissing shaken baby syndrome as a myth, despite public billboards warning against it. "I quit my job," Rachel says. "I didn't care about the money. I cared about her safety." Colby, however, began pushing for more involvement, insisting on overnight stays and eventually taking the fight to court. The March 13th hearing was a disaster for Rachel. The judge, grieving a family death, expedited the case, and her prepared evidence photos of alleged neglect, drug paraphernalia, and concerning injuries was never admitted. The ruling 50/50 custody, effective immediately. "It made me look like a spiteful mother who just didn't want him around," Rachel cries. "I was terrified something would happen to her on his watch without court protection." On the evening of the 19th, she and Christina arranged the handoff at a neutral Publix parking lot at 6:30 p.m. Christina physically passed. Presley to Colby with a forced smile. "Hope you have a great week. I'll see you later." Rachel stayed in the car, avoiding direct contact. She never imagined deputies would return before midnight with the worst news imaginable. Colby's own family offers a starkly contrasting narrative. Originally from Alabama, they relocated to Florida during Colby's freshman year of high school, where he met Rachel. His mother, Megan, describes Rachel as controlling and manipulative from the start, allegedly isolating Colby from his family and abruptly cutting off visits when he requested overnights. He bought a toddler bed, toys everything, Megan recounts. She refused. He tried to handle it without lawyers. She blocked him. We hired an attorney, and once served, she ghosted completely. Regarding drugs, Megan insists Colby only used marijuana medically with a valid card and never dealt in front of Presley. His stepfather recalls a past traffic stop where a small amount of marijuana was found. Rachel was in the vehicle with a cousin but tearfully claimed innocence, letting Colby take full blame. The case was dismissed, but it cemented their view of Rachel as deceptive. On the afternoon of the murder, Megan last saw her son glowing with joy after picking up Presley. He was screaming from ear to ear. She showed off her new boots. He asked her favorite restaurant, Waffle House. He had no idea what was coming. Megan's suspicion falls squarely on the custody dispute. Think of her, Rachel didn't win the way she wanted. Investigators press Rachel in a second interview less than 24 hours after the killing, zeroing in on whether someone might have acted on her behalf amid the mounting pressure. "No one in my family would ever harm him," she insists, her Southern Baptist upbringing emphasizing prayer over violence. "Give it to God." Yet the timing is undeniably suspicious. The very day Colby finally gets his court-ordered week with Presley, he's executed on his doorstep. Detectives probe her mother, Christina, who paints Colby as a good kid gone astray, obsessed with marijuana despite her pleas. She discovered his lies and kicked him out for Presley's sake. On murder night, her best friend's son, who lives in the complex, noticed the police swarm and called. Christina raced over without alerting Rachel. Both women deny sharing Colby's address or inciting violence, calling the coincidence awfully convenient but tragic. Unbeknownst to them, law enforcement has already made a breakthrough. Using witness descriptions and license plate readers, detectives zero in on Jason Curtis, aged 53, standing 6 feet 4 inches and weighing 235 pounds, a near-perfect match for the fleeing suspect. A dishonorably discharged Army veteran with a lengthy violent history, Jason is flagged as an officer safety risk and proudly displays his extensive gun collection on Facebook. Most damning, he is Christina's ex-husband. Divorced for years, yet still loosely tied to the family as Rachel's former stepfather. His girlfriend Angela owns the vehicle pinged near the crime scene. Interviewed at her local Alabama precinct, Angela frames their March 19th trip as a spontaneous romantic getaway to revisit Jason's old stomping grounds in Milton and Navarre. They stopped at a Tom Thumb gas station for bathroom breaks, public beach pavilions, and a liquor store beside a sports bar where Jason chatted with a former musician acquaintance. He was happy all day, she recalls. Stops lasted mere minutes, 5 to 10 at most, and Jason was never out of her sight long enough for foul play. She admits knowing about Rachel's custody woes, she was upset, and confirms. Jason routinely carries a black .38 caliber Ruger, possibly his late father's, along with reading glasses. But she insists innocence. The turning point comes when detectives search Angela's car and uncover a handwritten note in Jason's distinctive scrawl. Cayo Grande Navarre red Toyota Colby Vincent, with phone number shallow bar. Shower, buzzcap bald. 6 foot Presley. It's a meticulously compiled dossier address, vehicle, physical description, even the child's name. Maps confirmed their hotel stop shared a parking lot with Colby's complex. Jason's brief bathroom break behind the car provided the perfect window. Jason's own mother messages Angela the next day. Did he kill somebody named Colby? His daughter elaborates in an interview. He adored Christy and Rachel. He'd do anything for them, even if not blood. He thought he was doing them a favor. Phone records reveal Rachel contacted Jason's daughter days prior for his number. And Christopher admits Rachel ranted to Jason about the court's failure and an open DCF case. Jason is arrested during a traffic stop on an Alabama highway, a .38 Ruger in his console. He initially denies everything, claiming he was home with Angela, then admits the Florida trip to visit old friends in Navarre. He knows intimate details Colby was selling from the apartment. Abuse photos ignored, yet slips up by mentioning the victim was shot before being told. Contradictions mount. He denies recent contact with Christina despite call logs, and after over an hour, he lawyers up. Meanwhile, Rachel voluntarily approaches investigators with a bombshell. She called Jason the Monday after court, panicking, said not to worry. It wouldn't be something he got to worry about. He sent photos of knives, swords, and guns. She responded jokingly about whatever's easiest to carry and offered to pay his gas to ease her anxiety-induced bedwetting. On Sunday night, a 1-minute call. Don't worry anymore. Her heart dropped. She deleted everything, fearing implication. Recovered messages are devastating. March 14th, Jason. Need me to hunt him down? Rachel. Not much hunting. I have an address. Jason. All kidding aside, I'll make a trip. Arrests cascade. Jason. For first-degree murder. Rachel is principal to premeditated murder and evidence tampering. Christina. As accessory address searches extensive calls with Jason despite denials. New undisclosed evidence clears Christina and her charges are dropped. Jason's trial is swift, his sloppy cover-up, and the .38 match seal his fate. Guilty. Life without parole. Rachel's April 2025 trial grips Florida. Prosecutors argue she orchestrated the hit to secure sole custody. Defense claims careless venting to a volatile ex-stepfather. The jury sides with prosecution, guilty on all counts. Life sentence at Lowell Correctional Institution in Ocala. Today, she serves her time while 6-year-old Presley grows up in foster care or with relatives. Swinging alone on an empty playground, Forever scarred by the night she watched her father die, Rachel wanted full custody. She got it at the ultimate price. Was it a tragic miscommunication with a psycho, or a calculated conspiracy wrapped in maternal desperation? The evidence screams the latter, but you be the judge. Drop your verdict in the comments, subscribe for more decodes, and stay vigilant out there. This is the Crime Decoder.